It's RT International. As the U.S. presidential election looms closer, with the spotlight, of course, on the leading candidates, it seems that Republican nominee Donald Trump isn't quite the man he was at the beginning of the race. Here's RT's Guyane Chichikan.
Donald Trump's raw and unscripted style flew in the face of conventional politics. Critics said he spoke the language of a fourth grader, but Trump himself insisted he had the best words.
I'm very highly educated. I know words, I have the best words.
And the words kept coming.
And you can tell them to go themselves.
On serious policy discussions like how he would fight ISIL, Trump was often brief.
I would bomb the shit out of him.
Standing against 16 other Republican candidates, Trump mocked his way to the party's nomination.
Don't worry about it, don't worry about it, little Marco.
Gentlemen, let's hear it, gentlemen.
You ought to show up.
Gentlemen, you gotta do better.
Jeb Bush is low energy.
Ted Cruz?
Okay. But he's a nasty guy. Nobody likes him.
However controversial, he made millions of Americans laugh their hearts out.
From an elderly woman.
Let me talk. Quiet.
A lot of times, that's all of his donors and special interests out there.
Even though a significant part of the country relished Trump's plain talk and gave him their votes, it recently dawned on his campaign that controversy could take him only so far. And Trump's style began to change, as did the words that he now carefully reads off of a prompter.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens.
Like other politicians, he now reaches out to different groups of voters with prepared remarks.
For centuries, the African American church has been the conscience of our country. So true.
But the scripted Donald Trump seems unfamiliar to many.
And for someone who claims they wrote the speech, he seems genuinely surprised at the information contained in his speech.
The change in Trump's tone is becoming more evident.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Compare that with the Trump who spoke days ago after his meeting with the Mexican president.
And I happen to have a tremendous feeling for Mexican Americans, not only in terms of friendships, but in terms of the tremendous numbers that I employ in the United States. And they are amazing people, amazing people.
The contrast of rhetoric prompts the question, did Donald Trump become politically correct?
Throughout his campaign, Trump had rallied against political correctness, talking as if he didn't give a damn about the rules other politicians play by. But now that the White House is within his reach, that all seems to have changed. And maybe it shows just how much he wants to swap his address to this one. In Washington, I'm Guyane Chichikan, RT.
The U.S. has denied entry to Britain's former ambassador to Uzbekistan, Craig Murray, despite granting him visa-free travel in the past. He was set to host an award ceremony for CIA torture whistleblower John Kiriakou. A campaign has been started to urge the State Department to grant Murray free travel to the U.S. As it stands, the former diplomat must apply for a visa to attend the ceremony and now may not make it there on time. However, John Kiriakou, who will be receiving the award, is no stranger to feeling the weight of Washington.
What about those CIA officers that were not acting within the confines of the law? The entire weight of the U.S. government crashed down on my head as soon as I opened my mouth. I never believed I would be going to prison under a President Obama. Never. That's been, I think, my biggest disappointment.
We spoke with Craig Murray about why he thinks he is not welcome in America. He believes the restrictions were imposed only after he himself blew the whistle on CIA torture techniques.
Obviously, the purpose of my going, which is to present an award to a CIA whistleblower, is something which the United States government would not be keen on. I myself was a whistleblower on torture, which is why I think I've been selected to travel to the States to present the prize to John Kiriakou, because we were both blowing the whistle on the CIA's extraordinary rendition program. I did so in the UK and in Uzbekistan. He did so in the United States. John Kiriakou is the guy who blew the whistle on CIA waterboarding, and he's the only person who was actually jailed for the CIA's program of torture. None of the people who did the torture was jailed. The only person imprisoned was the guy who blew the whistle on it, who was jailed for releasing official secrets. So, you know, obviously the whole subject is a great embarrassment to the United States, and it's not something which they're keen to encourage knowledge of. So my guess is that's why I was banned from it. You know, really, for the United States to be behaving in this way is absolutely outrageous. The only other country which has ever banned me is the regime of Uzbekistan, and I'm really not sure that the United States wishes to be in that kind of company.
All right, next here on RT International, the Kaiser report mulls just how much the EU will miss having Britain as a part of its trading bloc. More news in half an hour.